Hi, beautiful soul. It's 3 a.m. You're lying awake. Again, mind racing with the same question that's been haunting you for months. Should I quit my job? Is this relationship killing my soul? Am I crazy for wanting to start over at 35? Hold up. Before you click away thinking this is just another trust your gut video, I'm about to tell you something that's going to make you uncomfortable. Something most spiritual teachers won't say because it's not pretty or Pinterest worthy. Ready? You don't need another tarot reading. You don't need more meditation. You don't need to wait for the perfect sign. You need to stop lying to yourself about what you already know. Welcome to Manifesting Miracles with Joelle. For over the past 28 years, I've worked with hundreds of spiritually aware people who thought they were confused about their life direction. Spoiler alert, none of them were actually confused. They were just terrified of trusting themselves. And if you're watching this video, chances are you're one of them. Let me paint you a picture. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You've been asking the same question for months. You've journaled about it, meditated on it, asked every spiritual friend for their opinion. You've probably even Googled signs from the universe at 2 a.m. And here's what happens next. You get an answer, a clear one. Maybe it comes through a reading. Maybe it's a moment of clarity and meditation. Maybe it's that gut feeling that hits you like lightning. But then what do? You ask again. Different reader, different method, different way of wording the same question. Why? Because you weren't actually looking for an answer. You were looking for the answer you wanted to hear, or the answer that felt safe, or the answer that wouldn't require you to change anything. Here's the thing about confusion that no one talks about. Real confusion doesn't ask the same question over and over. Real confusion explores. It gathers information. It moves forward with uncertainty. But what you're experiencing, that's not confusion. That's avoidance dressed up as spiritual seeking. I know this is hard to hear. Trust me, I've been there. I've spent 5 years trying to gain clarity about leaving my elementary school job, working as a substitute teacher while repeatedly being promised a full-time position that never came. Despite strong performance and praise working in Orange County, a full-time role never materialized. Hoping for better outcomes, I moved to San Diego, but encountered the same cycle: lower pay, no permanent position. All the while, I ignored my intuition. At the same time, I worked part-time as a psychic medium, which ultimately earned more income than teaching. You know what finally got me clarity? One conversation with my boss made me realize I was being used for my talent and not being appreciated. I also ended up being overworked and even ill. I was forced to decide which job was more important to me. I ended up quitting my teaching career and went completely full-time into my psychic business by listening to my own intuition. It was the best decision I made and never looked back. The knowing was always there. I was just too scared to listen. In today's video, we are going to cover the whisper you keep avoiding, why do we second-guess ourselves, and the signs you've been ignoring. Then, I am going to give the 5 steps to trust yourself, so you can stay grounded and know your intuition is one of the most powerful tools you have to guide you in all aspects of your life. Let's begin. So let's talk about that whisper you keep avoiding. You know the one I mean. It first showed up during a quiet moment. Maybe you were driving, or in the shower, or that space between sleep and waking. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't loud, it was just there, a simple knowing. I need to leave, or this isn't right for me anymore, or I'm meant for something different. And what did you do? If you're like most people, you probably thought, that's crazy, I need to be practical, I need more information. So you started researching, planning, asking for signs, waiting for the right time. But here's what's wild. That whisper, it doesn't go away, it gets stronger. It starts showing up in your dreams, in songs on the radio, in conversations with strangers, in the way your body physically reacts when you imagine staying versus leaving. The universe doesn't whisper once, it whispers constantly until you listen. I want you to think about your whisper right now, and I want you to get really honest with yourself about how long you've been hearing it. 6 months? A year? 5 years? Because here's what I've learned. The longer you ignore the whisper, the louder life gets. The whisper becomes a nudge. The nudge becomes discomfort. The discomfort becomes chaos. Your relationships start falling apart. Your health starts struggling. Your work becomes unbearable. Your entire life starts feeling like it doesn't fit. That's not the universe punishing you. That's the universe getting your attention. I'll never forget Sarah, one of my clients. She'd been hearing the whisper to leave her marriage for 3 years. 3 years of tarot readings asking if she should stay. 3 years of looking for signs that it would get better. In fact, I predicted a divorce would be part of her life path on the first reading I gave her. She definitely was not getting the best news from me every time she called me. Yet she knew intuitively I was being honest with what I saw for her. You know what finally made her listen? The one time the cards showed me there was another woman around him. I told her he was not honest, and most likely was cheating. She found out her husband had started having an affair. Her body developed chronic pain. Her daughter asked her why she always looked sad. Life got loud because she wouldn't listen when it was quiet. Don't wait for the chaos. The whisper is enough. Now, before we go any further, I want to offer you some grace here. Because if you've been second-guessing yourself, it doesn't mean you're broken or not spiritual enough. It means you're human. Our brains are literally wired to keep us safe. And for your brain, safe equals familiar. Even if familiar is miserable, at least it's predictable. When your intuition says leap, your brain says, are you insane? What about the mortgage? What about what people will think? What about the 47 things that could go wrong? This is normal. This is human. This is not a spiritual failing. But here's where it gets tricky for spiritually aware people. We think we should be above this fear. We think we should trust easily, flow effortlessly, follow our intuition without question. So when we feel scared, instead of acknowledging the fear, we tell ourselves we're confused or not getting clear guidance. We spiritualize our fear instead of facing it. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a moment of crystal clear knowing about what you needed to do, and then immediately started doubting it? That doubt isn't coming from your intuition. It's coming from your fear, and fear has a very specific agenda to keep you exactly where you are. But here's what fear doesn't want you to know. You can be scared and still trust yourself. You can feel uncertain and still take action. You can acknowledge the risk and still choose growth. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's feeling the fear and choosing truth anyway. The most aligned decisions rarely feel 100% safe. They feel true. And truth? It shakes things up. It challenges your comfort zone. It threatens your ego's control. If you're waiting for a decision to feel completely risk-free before you make it, you're not waiting for guidance. You're waiting for a guarantee that doesn't exist. Okay, let's get practical, because I bet your intuition has been giving you signs all along. You've just been dismissing them as coincidence or wishful thinking. Here are the signs you have been ignoring. Sign 1. The same opportunity keeps showing up. How many times has the same type of opportunity appeared in your life? The job opening that looks perfect, but you convince yourself you're not ready. The person who keeps asking you out, but you think the timing is wrong. The business idea that won't leave you alone. Your soul doesn't send opportunities once. It sends them repeatedly until you pay attention. Sign 2. Your body knows before your mind does. Pay attention to your physical reactions when you think about different choices. Does your chest tighten when you imagine staying? Does your breathing deepen when you imagine leaving? Does a certain path make you feel energized, while another drains you instantly? Your body is your most accurate intuitive compass. It doesn't lie or overthink. It just responds to truth. Sign 3. Other people keep saying the same thing. You seem different lately. You don't look happy. When multiple people, independently, start reflecting the same observation about your life, that's not coincidence. That's your truth being mirrored back to you. I remember pretending to be happy at my teaching job, but the signs were clear. My hairdresser said I looked tired. My mom said I sounded flat. Even a psychic client gave me a message. You're meant to do readings, you're a healer, and people need your help. That wasn't random. That was reality checking in. Sign 4. You keep having the same dream or fantasy that daydream you have on your commute. that vision that comes up during meditation, that what if scenario you play out in your head when you're bored. Your imagination isn't just entertainment, it's your soul showing you possibilities. I want you to pause this video right now and think, how many of these signs have you been experiencing? Be honest. Write them down if you need to. Now ask yourself, if someone else described these exact signs to you, what would you tell them? If you found the information helpful so far, please like this video. Thank you, and let's continue. All right, enough diagnosis. Let's talk solutions. Here's my 5-step method for moving from second guessing to self-trust. And no, it doesn't involve more oracle cards. 1. Stop asking the same question. First, you need to go on a reading diet. No more asking different people the same question. No more pulling cards about the same situation. No more Googling "should I" at 3 a.m. Give yourself a moratorium, 1 month minimum. I know this feels scary, but what if I miss important guidance? Trust me, real guidance doesn't expire. It gets stronger when you stop desperately chasing it. 2. Tune into your body's wisdom. Every day for the next week, I want you to do this exercise. Put one hand on your heart, one on your belly. Think about staying in your current situation. Notice what happens in your body. Tension, relaxation, heaviness, lightness. Now think about the change you're considering. What happens now? Different sensations? Your body votes first. Your mind debates later. Start trusting the vote. 3. Recognize the pattern. Look back at the best decisions you've made in your life. I mean the ones that really changed everything for the better. How did those decisions feel in the moment? Were they completely logical? Did you have all the information? Or did you have a knowing that defied your rational mind? I'm betting they felt like leaps of faith, because that's how aligned decisions work. 4. Uncover your real fear. Here's where we get real. What are you actually afraid of? Not the surface fear, the deep one. Is it failure? Is it success? Is it disappointing people? Is it being alone? Is it discovering you're more powerful than you ever imagined? For me, it was the fear that if I trusted myself completely, I'd become someone my family wouldn't recognize. I'd outgrow the story they had about who I was supposed to be. Name the real fear. It loses half its power when you drag it into the light. 5. Start small, but start. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow. You don't need to end your relationship this week. You don't need to move across the country next month. But you do need to start honoring your inner knowing in small ways. Maybe it's saying no to plans that drain you. Maybe it's having one honest conversation. Maybe it's researching that thing you keep thinking about. Maybe it's just admitting out loud, I'm not happy with this. Bonus tip, trust the process, not the outcome. Here's the final piece. Stop trying to control how it all turns out. Your job is to listen and act. The universe's job is to orchestrate the details. When you start trusting yourself, life doesn't become easier. It becomes more alive, more authentic, more you. Some people won't understand. Some opportunities will end. Some relationships will change. That's not a bug, that's a feature. You're not meant to fit into a life that's too small for your soul. If this video helped you, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. I share new videos every week about living authentically, trusting your intuition, and having the courage to choose yourself. YouTube thinks you will like this video next. Let's see if they are right. I will see you in the next video.